Welcome to Island Health VIP, Care for Maui, with your hosts Jeff and Josette. We care for the island, we care for the people, and promote that care to foster a worldwide community of cultural consciousness and tolerance. We discuss mental health as well as local and cultural topics.
Aloha, everyone. Aloha, Josette. Nice to see you today.
Aloha.
Today our guest is Nikki Russell, the Interim Chief Executive Officer for the Maui Humane Society. The Maui Humane Society is a nonprofit organization, the only open admission animal shelter in the county of Maui. They have extraordinarily passionate, devoted staff, and that organizational culture that fosters collaboration and problem solving. The fundamental mission is to treat people and animals with deep respect, compassion, kindness, and aloha. Nikki is new to the position as the Interim Chief Executive Officer. She came to Maui in 2002. She began work for the Maui Humane Society in 2012, spending every weekend caring for cats or walking dogs, but realized that homeless animals was her passion, and soon she became a foster parent, so they started doing cat trapping and assisting with cat MASH clinics. That's interesting. We'll have to talk about that. She joined the Maui Humane Society staff as the foster coordinator in 2017 and has served in the roles of transfer coordinator, director of community outreach, and again, just recently became chief of operations in August of 2023, and now interim CEO.
Wow.
So welcome, Nikki.
It's a mouthful, right?
Yeah, that's quite the background.
That's very impressive. And I love animals too. And I've been to the animal shelter, the Maui Animal Shelter, a few times. Always wanting to see how we can get some type of program going to adopt out the animals because they're so cute.
Yes, they are.
Oh my gosh. So I went several months ago, and then a few months ago, Jeff was saying something like that they may have to do a kill shelter because they had so many dogs. So then I went back again and was trying to, say, hey, can we do an adopt program? But we've never really got it together. But anyway, maybe that's something we can talk in the latter part of the show for sure. Jeff, I know you have a lot of questions. Yes. You're equally as passionate about animals as I am.
Well, I've had a bunch of dogs in my life. I've had some cats too. I'm not the cat person. I'm more the dog person. My dogs all came from the Maui Humane Society and then traveled around the country with me as I moved.
Nice.
So, but Nikki, tell us how you came to this role as Interim Chief Executive Officer. That's fairly new.
How did I come into the role? Well, I think I would like to start by, I'm actually a nurse by training, and it was through volunteering that it helped me realize my true passion, honestly, for animal welfare, being able to make a difference for the community, for the animals. And after 25 years, I left the medical field to join Maui Humane Society, and I couldn't learn enough. That's all I can say. There is just so much to know, so much to learn, and I was dedicated and really wanted to make sure that this is where I was going to spend the rest of my working life. And I have just kind of put my nose to the grindstone and wanted to continue making a difference. I've built relationships in the community, with other nonprofit animal agencies, just trying to learn as much as I can for the animals. It's always for the animals.
And that's so great. What other agencies do we have?
Well, Honey is a cat rescue that works with, it's more like a foster program. So they help place kittens into their forever homes. There's the Good Cat Network. They're running some spay-neuter clinics right now, in addition to what Maui Humane Society offers. There's Kitty Charm Farm. They're also another kitty rescue. I'm trying to think. Aloha Forever Pets is one of the newer 501c3s that have come out to help increase affordable spay-neuter in the Maui community. So that's just a few off the top of my head. Yeah,
That's run by our friend Wendy Hornak from the Rotary Club.
that's
So
correct.
she has a new nonprofit to spay and neuter animals.
That's correct.
That's
We're
fantastic.
actually, yeah,
Go
we're
ahead.
partnering with the Rotary and Wendy and Good Fix and the Dave and Cheryl Duffield Foundation in June to offer the Lahaina residents a no-cost spay-neuter clinic. So very thankful for that relationship.
That is so nice. So up
Yeah.
until June, will there still be cost for the Lahaina residents or?
We help if Lahaina residents need assistance with their pets. That's part of our mission right now. Post fire is to assist them. In general, Maui Humane Society does have a low cost associated with their spay neuter program. And so in essence, we're supporting, we're bringing Good Fix in. It's Greater Good Charities, and they bring their own doctors, their own staff, and they set up a whole clinic, like a MASH clinic. You said we'll talk about that later, but it's like a mobile animal surgical hospital. And we'll do close to, I think our goal is 850 pets that we'll take care of over a 3 to 4 day period.
Oh, I was thinking for a year.
Oh no,
3 to
it's
4
real
days.
short. Yeah, real short. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Did you recently, were you the one at the YMCA? Because I know that they have a roving pet, a mobile pet.
Yeah, that's our mobile clinic. We take the mobile clinic out to Hana, and we also go to Lahaina twice. It's twice a month, the first and third Wednesdays that we're out there able to offer either no cost to Lahaina fire survivors or low cost healthcare.
That's fantastic. I saw you out there. I was in Maui just last week, and I'll be in Maui again next week. So,
Wonderful.
I'm sure you know Jeff and myself have Island Health, and so we are expanding. The YMCA's finally got our modules. So
Oh
I
wow.
know it took about, and it wasn't them. We had to go through, all the permitting and all of that, but it took about a year and a half. And so
Wow.
I just pinch myself. I'm so excited. I'm like, it's really happening. But
That's
yeah,
great.
it's fun that I saw you there, or at least saw, you know, a of you there.
Yeah, because I was out there last Wednesday, visiting the clinic, just checking in to see how things were going and to meet with Jay Lou. So if you were there last Wednesday, we
I
might have
was.
actually run in. Okay, excellent.
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
On April 18th, 2026, Renew Well and the Go Deep Foundation invite you to lace up and join us for the Run for Care 5K. This isn't just a run, it's a movement. At Renew Well, we believe wellness is more than what's covered by healthcare. It's about dignity, stability, and hope. That's why your steps help provide essentials too often out of reach, from interim housing and nutrition to food security and wellness programs. Every mile you run helps restore balance. Every stride helps restore lives. Together, we run for care. Learn more at runforcare.org.
Welcome to Island Health by Go Deep Care for Maui. We offer a wide range of services, from counseling, case management, and life coaching. We also offer deep sessions that can help with traumatic life events, and IOP and group classes, behavioral health retreats, and community unity events. Contact us today at islandhealth.vip or call us at 808-336-2611.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
Nikki, Josette mentioned something a little earlier about having to put down animals because of overcrowding, but I think you avoided most of that. That is my remembrance. Can you tell us more about what happened?
Absolutely. We just had a huge influx of dogs at one point. We're up to 166 dogs in care. If you can imagine, we have 43 kennels, 43. So when we had animals that were doubled up, tripled up in kennels, it increases stress. Animals were just faltering in our care, struggling. I don't know if you've ever seen, they spin, they bounce off the wall. very difficult. It's difficult to be in a 4 by 10 room for a good part of your day. We do have beautiful yards and all that, but sometimes when we have 70 dogs on campus, it's a lot more difficult to get them out, to get that outside time. Even though we have wonderful volunteers who come walking dogs every day, we have wonderful programs. But we hit that point where, we do have a contract with Maui County Humane Enforcement. So stray animals, that's our job to help with that. And when we had 0 kennels available to fulfill that contract with the county, we really had to look at what are we going to do. These animals weren't ill-behaved animals, but they were the ones that were struggling the most while they were in our care. And so there were 23 dogs. We put a plea out to the community and asked over the course of 3 weeks if the community could help get the dogs out of the shelter. And it happened. The Maui community stepped up. Those animals went into homes. They've been successful. And it's made the dogs that are still in our care more calm, and it gave us room to continue doing the good work we do, taking in stray animals and trying to reunite them with their families or find them new homes.
You are a rock star. I thought you were going to tell me that, that the 23 dogs had to pass or something. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sad. Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yes. Yeah. That's the wonderful thing about Maui is everybody always pulls together and makes it happen somehow.
I know. Resilient. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So I think you weren't the CEO after the fires, but there was quite a bit of activity at the shelter.
Yes.
So there was a lot of homeless, displaced, and damaged animals, I remember. And
Yes.
your organization took care of a lot of the hurt animals. That must have been quite the strain on your organization, though. Can you give us more details of that?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Immediately after the fire, because it was a very dangerous area, we weren't able to gain access for quite a while. There were over 800 animals that we brought out of the fire zone, the majority of which were cats. Those first couple of weeks, the animals that were coming out of the burn zone were very injured. We had some animals hospitalized for over a month, getting treatment. We had a pig whose hooves were so burnt, we had to do like laser therapy to get him so he could even walk again. The kitties that came through with burns to their paw pads, multiple bandage changes a day in order to maintain cleanliness and the healing. The dogs that we had come in weren't that many, thankfully. I think because they're so mobile, most people are able to, were able to leave with their dogs. Cats were just a different story. We did have some injured dogs come to us. Thankful, our medical team is amazing to begin with. And we had a large number of doctors, veterinarians, and team members like vet techs that joined us on a volunteer basis so that we were able to provide care from very early in the morning until late into the evening. It was like from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, tending to the animals that were coming in daily. We were bringing in close to 25 cats a day. And then, of course, every animal had to be sedated, examined, look for signs of ownership, try to reunite with family. It was so difficult with the families. There were no phones. They were, in different encampments trying to just survive. It was just it was a crazy time. It was a very crazy time. We did receive a lot of support from I think we received donations from just about every country in order to help support. Yeah. Yeah. So we were able to set up a distribution center here, which included, so people who were able to escape with their pets would come to us, and we were able to give them like pop-up kennels, transfer kennels, travel kennels, litter boxes, litter, food. leashes, collars, anything that they needed in order to keep their pets safe and with them. And we did that. We had distribution sites on the west side. We were driving vans over to the gyms where people were being housed in the interim. It was amazing. It was an amazing time. We had UC Davis shelter medicine crew come down and help us build temporary shelters for the cats because we had so many. Yeah, I could just really go on and on and on and on about fire response. It was life-changing. It was life-changing.
Doesn't your heart just pour out so much? I mean, for everybody that just came together and did their part. I
Yes.
don't know that we hear this anywhere else in any other disaster areas. I mean, Maui is so special. And like you said, people from all over the world, you know. And so that is so fantastic that that happened. How many animals were you able to reunite with the owners? I mean, was that successful or?
It was. Yes, just to give you kind of an idea about the landscape of cats on Maui, many cats are free roaming. They're very well loved. They live outside, they're in colonies, they have people who advocate for them, get them spayed, neutered, feed them regularly. So it was a lot of the cats that did come in didn't necessarily have an owner assigned. So those were the kitties that were more difficult. The kitties that were owned that came in with microchips, we were able to get them back with their people like boom, which was amazing, amazing, amazing. Microchips, I will
Way to
scream it
go.
at the mountaintop.
Yeah,
Microchips, get pets home.
I love it.
Yes, you
Yeah,
see the sign outside the shelter. I think it says chips happen.
right.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable. I love it.
Yeah, it's, over and over, we have so many animals that do come into the shelter without, you can tell they're owned. Every dog is an owned dog. We don't have packs of free roaming dogs, but it's right.
Oh, there's
Um, yeah, so, but again, microchips. So that's how we get them home. And, but for the kitties that came in, I wish I could remember the number. I used to have all these numbers like right on the tip of my tongue. But my goodness. I mean, we have poster boards hanging in the front office of the kitties and dogs that we reunited with their families because every time they came in, we had people coming in like daily, looking at the cats that had come in. It was, yes. So when we were doing the reunifications, it was a celebration. Like we had team members up in the front and yeah, those were the amazing times. Yes.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
The journey to wellness begins with a single breath and sometimes a glimpse of something greater. Island Health invites you to a deep-sea excursion, a private whale-watching experience that connects the power of nature with the healing of the human spirit. As you witness these majestic whales in their natural rhythm, you'll be inspired to find your own. Your customizable experience can include integrative therapies, restorative spa services, nutritional wellness, and our exclusive deep therapy sessions, which is our proprietary method that brings you to chronological balance of mind, body, and spirit. It's more than a getaway. It's a guided return to yourself. To design your Island Health excursion, call 808-336-2611. Again, that's 808-336-2611.
Wellness is more than what's covered by healthcare. It's the warmth of a safe place to sleep, the comfort of a meal that nourishes, the peace of knowing you're not alone. At Renew Well, we help people find wellness in the spaces traditional care can't reach, providing support for nutrition, fitness, housing, and the simple human needs that restore dignity and hope. Because healing doesn't end when the treatment does. It continues in the kitchen, the home, the community, anywhere someone is rebuilding their life and learning how to live again. Together, we're closing the gap between health and healing. Visit renewwellinc.org to learn how you can help restore balance and restore lives. Renew Well, because wellness is more than treatment. It's the foundation to thrive. To learn more, find us at renewwellinc.org.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we did find live outcomes for even all of the kitties that came in that weren't adoptable per se. You know, they're not your regular adoption candidate. But yeah, we were able to find live outcomes for all of them. And I don't think that's ever been done before.
That's so beautiful. I was wondering if you donated or adopted any out to the cat sanctuary in Lanai.
We didn't adopt them out there. We actually made an arrangement. They were very kind. They took 200 of the kitties from Lahaina, and in exchange, we're bringing in, the kitties, once they're there with all the visitors and the love they get, they become much more acclimated to being social. So as kitties at the Lanai Cat Sanctuary get to the point of being social and wanting to be in a home, they come to us. So we did an exchange. So it wasn't just they took them on, because that's not fair to the island of Lanai. But they did. It's been great. I think we've transferred about 130 cats now over from Lanai and been able to find them forever homes.
That's so nice. I love these stories. I mean, you guys are like a tearjerks, storybook over here.
Well, what's exciting is that some of the kitties that were so traumatized, and they did go to Lanai Cat Sanctuary, some of them have come back as adoption candidates and have moved on to be adopted in forever homes. So it's been it's been a great partnership. Yes.
That sounds so healing. I'm actually a grandparent of cats. So I have 2 grandcats. And
Nice.
So, yeah. So I know how important kitties are. So that just warms my heart.
Skipping, Nikki, and
Yes.
tell us more about what you folks do. You have a clinic that does microchipping?
We do. We were doing it quarterly and realizing that people generally wanted to come. We do what's called a chip and chill. So people come in, we do microchips, we offer either free or low-cost vaccinations, and we offer medication. So right around the 4th of July and New Year's, there's lots of fireworks. And that's when we see the most lost animals. We actually do a purposeful, like making room in the shelter prior to those holidays, because we know there's going to be lost pets coming in. Just from fear, they run. So we try to do it 3 weeks ahead of the holiday. Come in, get your microchip. We help with like if we provide a pop-up kennel or a humane tie out, something to help people to keep their pets at home and calm during the holidays. But the microchips also, again, our officers, when they're out in the field and they come across a stray dog, first thing they do, they scan for a microchip. And if that microchip is registered appropriately to the right owner, we're able to get them home without them ever having to come into the shelter. So microchips are amazing.
How do you scan them? Is it you have a little tool or?
Yep, it's a microchip scanner. I like to think of it as like a subcutaneous UPC, like a code that you see at the grocery store. You know how you scan it and it reads out, right? It's the same idea. It doesn't emit a frequency. It doesn't, like you would never know an animal has a microchip until you take this little special tool and, scan between their shoulder blades, and then up pops a number. That number then it's registered in our system. And so the officer looks up that code and it takes you to the animal and then the animal's owner.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Is
it's great.
Is the chip always in the shoulders, but between the shoulders usually?
That's the goal, just so that it's in a universal place so that anybody who's searching for a microchip is looking.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
So if people want to get their pets microchipped, then we want you to mention your contact information a couple of times. So how can people contact the Humane Society?
We have multiple ways. The best way is to go to our website first. So it's mauihumanesociety.org. There's a plethora of information on our website. It tells you when our upcoming clinics are. It tells you how to schedule surgery appointments, how to ask for any kind of help. If you're struggling and feel like you need to surrender your pet, we have a surrender deferment program. All of those things are found on our website. We do, of course, have phones, but everybody's generally running around with animals, so our phones are difficult to get through. But you can always leave a message. We do return calls within 24 hours. But again, the website, or come on in. I always say, come in, ask questions, see all the animals we have. Who knows? You'll find your next forever, dog, cat, rabbit, guinea pig, red-eared slider, pig, duck. I don't know. You name it. Maybe a goat. Yes, you never know what we're going to have.
What is the most unique animal do you think that you've had there?
I think it was Tommy the pig. He was pretty amazing. He was an amazing guy. But that was probably the most unique. We had Penny the pig for a while as well. But we get baby goats and baby pigs in, and they're domesticated. These are their pets. They're usually just stray. They, dig out of a yard, or so most of them go back home to their people.
You say ducks, do you get ducks in?
We do. Ducks and chickens, and you wouldn't believe what comes through our front door. Sometimes the big birds, the macaws and conures, cockatiels. Yeah, it's chinchillas. I mean, all the domestic animals come to us.
Do you ever or just are like, oh my gosh, where am I going to house this animal? I bet that's rough.
It can be. We're actually in the middle of reconstructing we call it Freddy's Friends. So we have a resident tortoise who's been with us for over 20 years. And there's an area where it's not cats, not a dog, that goes to Freddy's Friends. So we're redoing that area right now so that we have better flexible space for those odd intakes. Like when we have ducks that need water, and yeah, they need a pond. So
Yes, they do. So do
yes.
you need donations and stuff? It sounds like you're in the midst of getting Freddy's Friends together.
Yeah, everybody can help. Everybody can help, whether it's adopting, fostering, and again, we foster dogs, cats, tortoises, guinea pigs, rabbits. We just had a guinea pig with her 2 babies in a foster home. So adopt, foster, volunteer. The time that you spend here, and if you don't want to handle animals, we have volunteer opportunities that support the animals without having to handle them. And if you can't volunteer, then donate, because again, everybody can do something. We had a break-in not too long ago, and we had a young man, he was, I believe, 8 years old, who had been saving up money for a video game. And instead, he asked his mom if he could bring the money to the shelter to help support the animals. That just speaks, everybody can do something. There are amazing people out there.
That is so sweet. I love hearing that. So what happened? Did they steal animals, or why would they break into a pet?
No, they did not harm, injure any animals, and I believe that was because of our security system. The alarms went off, and of course the police came. But they broke into our front office, stole money, donations, like donation checks, that kind of stuff. They ruined one of our doors. They ruined multiples of our cameras. So we've been replacing everything, getting it back up to par, and yeah, yep.
So happy to hear. So when I know I gave that little story about maybe adopting pets out in Arizona. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever adopt out on the mainland, you know?
Absolutely. We have a transfer program called Wings of Aloha, and our transfer coordinator works with transfer partners on the mainland. And so we can send dogs and cats to rescues and other humane societies that help us find them homes on the continent. We also have people who want to do an off-island adoption. So somebody in Seattle says, I want to adopt those kittens that are on your website. And they'll work with our adoption team and get them adopted and get a health certificate and get them flown to Seattle. How else do we do it? We have something called Beach Buddies. So folks that are visiting the island can go to our website and sign up to take out a dog for the day. And sometimes they fall in love and they fly home with their new pet. So, but yes, we're always looking to put animals into homes however we can.
Yeah, I thought so. I like that Beach Buddies program that you have. I've heard about it. Jeff, I think you told me about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Go walk
surprised
the
you
dog on
don't
the
go and
beach
get a
today.
dog for the day because he's dogless right now.
Ooh, I can help you with that, Jeff. Don't tempt me. They say I'm the dog broker, so be careful.
Okay. Dog pusher. Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, I can see I can see you with 3 dogs in your near future, Jeff. How many have you had at one time?
Me?
Yeah,
I've had 3.
yeah, yeah. They're still lingering.
They all passed, but they all did pretty well. Last
Yeah.
one passed 2 months ago, about 16 years old. So that's pretty good for a dog, especially larger
That
size.
is. Yeah,
Sure.
that's pretty amazing.
And so for
The
the
dog actually
viewers,
died on its birthday, which was unusual, I think.
Oh,
oh, you
wow.
did. Wow.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Some of us run to remember.
Some of us run to forget.
Some of us run for the light inside of us.
That just hasn't burned out yet.
Some of us run together.
Some of us run alone.
Some of us run from the darkness
that chases us on our way home.
But it's the light inside of us.
We all want to share.
No matter where you are.
We are here to run for care. On April 18th, 2026, our city moves as one. Lace up, show up, lift up, run for care. Learn more at runforcare.org.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
So, Nikki, so I think the overcrowding and length of stay is some of the problems you've been experiencing. So what are some of the solutions to that?
Well, and for the length of stay, it's really, we need help getting animals out of the shelter. We find that once they get into a foster home, we know who they are, what kind of family they need, and once we have that information, we're able to move them along on a permanent placement, right? Whether it's to one of our transfer partners or directly into a home. But the longer that they're actually residing in the shelter, the more problematic it becomes. That's when they start to falter. And again, we have amazing programs to get dogs out of the shelter on a regular basis, or at least out of their kennels. But it's wearing on them. And, we're changing how we do things. Our website it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks based on our web developer. But we're going to have every animal that comes into the shelter immediately on our website. Our hope is that people who have lost their pet are going to go straight to our website and look for their pet so that we can get them reunited. Again, we have our Beach Buddies program, our foster program, and we even have an office dog program as part of enrichment. And there was actually a professional team that was here just in January measuring cortisol levels in dogs who were spending days in offices. So there's actually a scientific study coming out very soon to reflect exactly how much it benefits the dogs to be out of their kennels, even if we're still on site, just with a human in an office, and how that can improve their life. So, but yeah, we're doing what we can to mitigate length of stay and the challenges, but
Yeah.
You
should
have
do
a big office,
at the same
Josette.
time. What is it?
You have a big office. Maybe you need
I
a dog.
have a very big office, but no, we should do the human cortisol at the same time as the dogs, because I'm wondering if it also would be beneficial for people.
I imagine that it is. I know it is. On the days that I have an office cat or an office dog, I know for me, I feel better. That's
Yeah.
my own personal. But on the days I don't, I'm kind of like, my office is lonely. So, and it's lonely right now.
Yes, there is some psychological studies that having a pet reduces things like blood pressure, cortisol levels, stress. That's why people pet furry things.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that.
So it's about springtime. What does that mean? I think it's kitten season, isn't it?
Yes, we're already seeing kittens, little bottle baby kittens coming in. So I think what I would like to do is implore the community. Those little kittens, I know everybody sees them and they think they need us. They need their cat mom more than they need humans when they're that tiny. Unfortunately, even with the best of love, the best of services, the best of products, a mom cat is going to take care of those kittens better than a human can, and they have a better chance of survival if they stay with their moms until they're at least 2 weeks old and mobile. So that's yes. You can go to our website. We actually have a little chat bot that talks you through what to do if you find a kitten. Of course, if the kitten is sick or injured, they should always come to us. We can do it, the best that we can to help them. And if you're interested in having temporary kittens, we do have a fantastic kitten foster program. We go through all the bells and whistles. We supply you with everything you need to provide the care. They're vaccinated, dewormed. We send home an area where, like a pop-up kennel, or that you can keep them in. Litter boxes, food, toys, you name it, we'll send it home. We ask you to raise those kittens until they're a healthy 2 pounds, and then you bring them back. We do spay or neuter surgery, and then they move on to their forever home. I know I'm an advocate. Yes.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun and, not too terrible much work. So that's great.
Yes.
When you're saying, Nikki, I guess people are they finding kittens just abandoned, or they think they're abandoned because mom is out getting food, or is
That's
that what
correct.
it's on? And so
Yes.
the advice is just leave the kittens there.
Yeah, and you can always call our officers, our humane enforcement officers, and they can talk you through it. But again, if you find kittens that are warm and have full bellies, mom is very close by. She might be scared of humans and she might have, ran away when you walked up on her nest. But if they're warm and fat, mom is very close by. Just leave them where they are. Keep an eye out. And again, when they're mobile, that's when it's appropriate to bring them in. They have a much better chance of surviving at that time. Those kittens that are cold, they look like maybe they have an upper respiratory infection. Those are the kittens that definitely should come in. Maybe their mom was hit by a car. Maybe they were abandoned. Again, you never know. Moms sometimes get hit by cars. So there are times when it's super appropriate to bring those kittens in, but most of the time, they're better off with mom. I would say 75% of the time they should stay with mom.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that. So I'm so glad that you really brought that up. Is there anything else that we need to know for any other pets?
For dogs, just keeping in mind that they're all owned. They have an owner. Unless they're found at a park, if they're found in your neighborhood, ask around. More than likely, that dog belongs to one of your neighbors. Maybe you never saw him or her before because they live in the backyard. But, ask around to your neighbors. I say this and I say it with love, but animals don't belong in a shelter. We're here to help those animals that don't have an advocate, but they don't belong in a shelter. They belong in homes. So if we can get any help we can to get pets back to their owners before they come into the shelter, that's the best thing we can possibly do. And again, contacting our officers, they can come out and scan the dog for a microchip, hopefully get that dog home before they ever have to come into the shelter. So we do everything we can to keep pets and their families together.
We have talked the future. We were originally part of a safe parking lot grant. We're not anymore, but we were in the beginning. And so that was a big thought of ours, like, how are we going to, help the pets? Do you have any special programs? Like if say somebody is homeless and, they need to work during the day. Do you have any like pet daycare or anything like that yet? Or
no, we don't. Again, with our population, even now we have 95 dogs in care. I mean, yeah. And so our kennels are generally full, so we can't bring animals in to house them. It's not safe for them here either. The number of animals that come in that are under vaccinated or have something that's contagious, you really don't want owned pets at the shelter if you can avoid it. But I know that I had talked to Jeff when I was at the Rotary meeting that night, and like we have pop-up kennels that we can help with, humane tie-outs. Most of the time, what we have found is that the community of houseless people work together to help take care of each other's pets. Just kind of, I'll cover you while you go to the store. If you watch my dog when I go to the doctor, like that kind of relationship. But keeping them safe and away from being hit by a car or running away, we're able to help with that. And we do. It's our Forever Pets program. And so we have a licensed social worker who helps with that, talks to people and helps to do whatever they can for that pet to stay with their human. Yeah, pets, you guys brought it up, those cortisol levels. I think that animals play a large part in keeping people mentally well and mentally happy. And yeah, that's our goal.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Welcome to Island Health by Go Deep Care for Maui. We offer a wide range of services from counseling, case management, and life coaching. We also offer deep sessions that can help with traumatic life events, and IOP and group classes, behavioral health retreats, and community unity events. Contact us today at islandhealth.vip or call us at 808-336-2611.
Wellness is more than what's covered by healthcare. It's the warmth of a safe place to sleep, the comfort of a meal that nourishes, the peace of knowing you're not alone. At Renew Well, we help people find wellness in the spaces traditional care can't reach, providing support for nutrition, fitness, housing, and the simple human needs that restore dignity and hope. Because healing doesn't end when the treatment does. It continues in the kitchen, the home, the community, anywhere someone is rebuilding their life and learning how to live again. Together, we're closing the gap between health and healing. Visit renewwellinc.org to learn how you can help restore balance and restore lives. Renew Well, because wellness is more than treatment. It's the foundation to thrive. To learn more, find us at renewwellinc.org.
On April 18th, 2026, Renew Well and the Go Deep Foundation invite you to lace up and join us for the Run for Care 5K. This isn't just a run, it's a movement. At Renew Well, we believe wellness is more than what's covered by healthcare. It's about dignity, stability, and hope. That's why your steps help provide essentials too often out of reach, from interim housing and nutrition to food security and wellness programs. Every mile you run helps restore balance. Every stride helps restore lives. Together, we run for care. Learn more at runforcare.org.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you have adopted animals yourself?
I do. I have 5 dogs from Maui Humane Society. I have 11 cats, and some of them adopted me. They're outdoor cats that happened upon our home, and then we purposely adopted some as well. And we have about 20 chickens. We have hens. I know. And they're quite characters. For me, I say I have tiny dinosaurs living in my backyard. So, but yeah, so lots of animals. My sister calls them heartbeats. She'll say, "How many heartbeats do you have at home right now?" And when our son left for college, we turned his room into a foster room. So we routinely foster kittens and moms and babies. And it's, yeah, we like.
His son's gone and now he can't come home.
Well, we have a guest room. His room was the best room to turn into the foster room. So,
So sweet. Well, is there anything, Nikki, that you would like to share, for our viewers, or anything that we haven't asked you that you would like to share?
you've been very kind and you've asked great questions. So I think what I would just like to say is that Maui Humane Society is here because of our community, to help the community, but it's also reciprocal. And I think the community steps up to help us routinely. And I'm very thankful for that. But just encouraging the community to come in and, again, before buying a pet, or come see the wonderful, wonderful animals that we have here that are looking for their second chance at a forever home. And or just come meet the team. It's actually a very lovely campus for being an aged campus. It's lovely and inviting, and we love for people to come in and visit, and just, I don't know, they can spread the word on what animals are here. And yeah, but that's all. We're a part of the community. That's the bigger part. Yeah.
For all of you viewers, you can't miss it. When you get out of the airport, it's super, super close. And so it's worth stopping in. So, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you and everything that you do. And we'll have to get you on and let us know when your website is up and ready, and we'll do a little commercial for you, because
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and we'll put it on all of our shows. So
excellent.
We love
the Maui Humane Society. That's MauiHumaneSociety.org. Stop by the shelter and say hi to Nikki and the animals.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyone knows where it is. You can't miss it on the highway coming to Kihei or between Kihei and Honolulu.
Yes. And you might actually see us when you're flying in. We have a new shade cover out in our dog yards with our logo paw print on. So you might just see it if you're flying in during the day.
Oh, I'm going to look for that. I fly in next Wednesday, so I'll be looking for it. So fantastic.
Perfect. Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Mahalo. Appreciate it.
Aloha.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Island Health VIP Care for Maui. You can learn more at islandhealth.vip. If you would like to be a guest on the show, call Jeff at 808-336-2611. We are located in Kihei at the Rainbow Mall that is at 2439 South Kihei Road, Kihei, Hawaii, 96753. We air each show every Monday at 11 a.m. on KAOI, and you can find us on Instagram at island.health.